Welcome to Wiki Bros. I'm Justin,
This is Kyle.
and this is the show with a couple of guys exploring various Wikipedia articles. This is part 2 on Ruby Ridge. Last time we discussed what led up to the shootings and ended with government using unfounded reports of the Weavers shooting at Geraldo's helicopter. Starting today, we are on to August 21st of 1992. Where 6 marshals were sent to scout out an area to determine suitable places away from the cabin to apprehend and arrest Weaver. The marshals, dressed in military camouflage, were equipped with night vision goggles and M16 rifles.
Now they're being serious.
Yeah, they're not playing any games.
No.
Nope. Says Deputy U.S. Marshal Art Roderick, Larry Cooper, and Bill Deegan formed the reconnaissance team, while David Hunt, Joseph Thomas, and Frank Norris formed an observation post team on the ridge north of the cabin. At one point, Roderick threw 2 rocks at the Weaver cabin to test the dog's reaction. The action provoked the dogs. Weaver's friend, Kevin Harris, and Weaver's 14-year-old son, Sammy, emerged and followed the dog Striker to investigate. Harris and the younger Weaver said that they were hoping the dog had noticed a game animal as the cabin was out of meat.
No, by this point they'd been there for pushing 6 months.
I believe that's correct.
It was from March until October.
Right. And I don't know. Well, it's August now.
Oh, okay. So I'm still
But
4 or 5 months.
yeah, and from what I can tell out of it anyway, they never left.
Oh, they wouldn't have been able to. They would have been apprehended at this point because they've already tried doing that a couple times.
Right. Yep. So they've been sitting up there and just, getting whatever game they can find.
Yeah.
It says the recon team of Roderick, Cooper, and Deegan initially retreated through the woods in radio contact with the op team, but later took up hidden defensive positions. Later, the op team and the Weavers claimed the dogs were alerted to the recon team in the woods after neighbors at the foot of the mountain started their pickup truck. The recon team retreated through the woods to a Y junction in the trails 500 yards west of the cabin, out of sight of the cabin. Sammy and Harris followed Striker on foot through the woods, while Randy, also on foot, took a separate logging trail. Vicky, Sarah, Rachel, and the baby remained at the cabin. Randy encountered the marshals at the Y. Roderick claimed to have yelled, "Back off, U.S. Marshal," upon sighting Weaver, and Cooper said he shouted, "Stop, U.S. Marshal." By their account, Sammy and Striker came out of the woods a minute later. When the marshal's position was revealed by the dog, a yellow Labrador, Roderick shot the dog.
I mean, I don't understand the reason for shooting the dog when they have already yelled out to them at this point. Like,
Yeah, and
what was the reasoning?
I guess possibly maybe the dog is aggressive.
It was a lab. Oh, it's a lab.
It's a lab, I get it. So
like-
possibly the dog is still, they're still in a hidden position. They can hear him, but maybe they can't see him, right? But if the dog keeps going, it'll find
Well,
him.
and they could have been trying to flank them or something.
Right.
Because there were multiple, right? There were 3.
Yeah, there's 3 of them out
3
there.
gunmen.
Yep.
But still, I mean, you try to resolve things calmly. Shooting the animal might not have been the best route to start with. Like, if someone started shooting at me, I don't know what my reaction would be immediately.
Well,
Depending on how far away the dog was from
but
you,
they
too.
shot the dog.
Well,
And
you know-
you said if somebody shoots your dog, you're going to call the cops.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Or you're going to sue them. You're not going to fire back.
Well, no.
You said it.
I did. Context might be a little different here, considering that their place has been surrounded by cops for like 4 months.
Oh, context. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that might be how. Was this before or after the helicopter?
This is after.
So-
This came immediately after.
So you've been locked in your house for 5 months. You've been surveillanced nonstop, can't leave. You have helicopters over. Of course, they're going to be on edge. I can understand that. I mean, your initial reaction,
Is to shoot.
it may not. I mean, like I said, if the dog is a football field ahead of me and the dog gets shot, I'm like, who shot my dog? I'm gonna be mad. Now, if you shoot my dog and he's 5 feet in front of me, you could take that as
Right.
threatening to yourself, not just the
Absolutely.
dog.
Yep.
Like, is the next shot coming for me?
Right. Yeah. It says, seeing this, Sammy Weaver reacted by shooting in the direction of Roderick. Deputy U.S. Marshal Cooper then shot towards Sammy Weaver and Kevin Harris, who both sought cover.
Now, they say shot towards.
Right.
Do they mean in the air? I mean, does it specify?
It doesn't
because
say.
because there are rules with that. Like, you can shoot into.
Oh, there's rules of engagement here too.
Yeah.
But we'll go
I
into
don't
those
feel
in a
like
little
it was
bit. and
followed well.
No, the rules of engagement are insane. You'll never see anything like this again. We'll get to it in a minute.
Okay.
And it's insane. But they shot in their direction.
Okay.
Okay.
So could have been a warning shot.
Could have been. So they both, seek cover. And then Harris, once finding cover behind a tree stump, then returned fire with one unaimed shot, which eventually killed Deegan. Sammy Weaver is now retreating up a hill and was shot in the back by Cooper.
Oh wow! So he was running away at this point.
Running
This is
away.
the 14-year-old.
The 14-year-old boy running away
Man.
from the big bad law enforcement
I mean,
officers.
that makes him look so bad. The fact that he was retreating. I mean,
Absolutely.
you
With
did fire first. Like, in fairness, the 14-year-old probably shouldn't have been the one out patrolling, like, with
Well,
the gun.
I think he's probably a little more advanced into the outdoors lifestyle at this point.
I'm not concerned about his, use of the gun. I'm more concerned with, okay, your decision-making skills at 14 might not have been the best. Like, he was clearly the one who fired back. Like, would
Right.
it have
Yeah.
escalated had he not fired
Yeah.
back? Because the adult didn't.
Right. Yep.
So, but what ensued after was just ridiculous.
Yep. Shoot the 14-year-old boy
In the back. In the back, yeah.
Later ballistics report showed that 19 rounds were fired during the fight. Roderick fired one shot from an M16. Then Sammy fired 3 from a .223 Ruger Mini 14 at Roderick. Deegan fired 7 shots from an M16 at Harris and Weaver. And Cooper fired 6 from a 9mm Colt submachine gun. Harris then fired 2 from a 30-06, striking and killing Deegan. After the federal agents began firing, Sammy was killed by the shot in the back when retreating.
Did any of them the police officers get hit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one?
Deegan.
Deegan. Okay, so Deegan
Yep.
was a police officer. He did get hit. Was he killed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And that was Harris killed him.
Okay, but not the boy.
No, not the boy.
So they
the
just
boy,
just straight executed the boy.
Yes.
And, the Deegan gets killed. You're all going to set the cops on edge, and then, still shooting him in the back was.
Yeah.
It just looks terrible. And at this point, like, there's no going back from this. At this point.
No,
Like, you just,
this- now-
one of the
now-
cops has been shot, and now you've killed, who was this? His friend? Just his friend was with him?
His friend, yeah,
And
Kevin
then,
Harris.
And then
Yep.
you're going to shoot his 14-year-old boy. I mean,
Right. Now Harris is still alive,
okay.
right? But the boy's dead.
Right.
It says the origin of the shot that killed Sammy was of critical concern in all investigations. At the time of the writing of the Ruby Ridge report in 1996, the U.S. Senate Subcommittee on Terrorism, Technology, and Government, chaired by Senator Alan Specter, observed that government's position at trial was that Cooper had fired the shot. The subcommittee engaged additional experts and ultimately declined to draw a final conclusion. The Justice Department's Ruby Ridge Task Force report to the Office of Professional Responsibility states, the evidence suggests, but does not establish, that the shot that killed Sammy Weaver was fired by Cooper.
Okay, then who else would it?
Yeah, they
It was
got
shot by one of them.
They've got to do it. They've got to do their investigation, and so they're saying Cooper was the one that killed him. And it was concluded that there was no indication he intended to shoot Weaver.
Really?
Yeah.
You shot the kid
Yeah.
running away in the back.
Yeah, I'm
which
a
means
trained-
which means he was evading you, going further away, and then you're going to shoot him and said it was accidental.
Yeah.
I didn't really mean to shoot him.
By the trained weapons
Right.
specialist in law enforcement. Didn't mean to shoot him. I was just shooting.
wearing camo gear.
I was just shooting. Just
I was
shooting.
just,
Just having a good time
just
out
wanted-
there.
I just wanted to.
I thought it was a squirrel. It was a squirrel.
A hunting accident. Is that what they're claiming now? Hunting
Absolutely.
accident.
Yeah, why not? Maybe.
Guess he should have wore orange.
That's probably why he died.
Yeah.
He wasn't wearing orange. Had he been
Probably.
wearing orange, Cooper would have never
Yeah.
shot.
Saved his life.
So, in 1997, Boundary County Sheriff conducted an independent search of the Y, and his investigator, Lucian Hegg, discovered and confirmed that a bullet found in that search matched Cooper's 9mm Colt submachine gun and contained fibers that matched Sammy's shirt, conclusively proving Cooper shot the 14-year-old Sammy Weaver in the back as he retreated, which we've already established that.
Right.
All right, so Harris's and federal agents' accounts differ as to who fired first, though. In the 1993 trial over charges in Deegan's death, prosecutors alleged that Harris had fired the first shot. Harris asserted self-defense and was acquitted. On cross-examination by defense, ballistics experts called by the prosecution testified that the physical evidence contradicted neither the prosecution's nor the defense's theories of the gunfight. Martin Fackler testified that Roderick fired the shot or shots that killed Stryker, that Deegan fired the shot that hit Sammy in the right elbow, that Harris shot and killed Deegan, and Cooper probably shot and killed Sammy.
Wait, so Sammy was shot more than once.
Yeah,
then.
that's what it sounds like.
Because
Yeah.
he got shot in the elbow.
Yep. Well, and plus they said there was 19 rounds fired during that too. So hopefully, I mean, you would hope that they would have enough competence to be able to hit more than one time out of 19 rounds.
Hey, all I know is every action movie I've ever seen,
Yes. Please go on.
the bad guys can shoot at you 1,000 times and not hit you.
Oh,
But then,
but who's the bad guys here? Dun, dun, dun,
dun,
dun.
dun, dun. Yeah, I mean, both of them sound like they're in the fault. For
So you're telling me that you think this little 14-year-old boy is a bad guy?
Look at you playing devil's advocate. No, I think he was put in a bad situation that he shouldn't have been in, and his
Oh.
decision-making skills were very poor because he's 14 and he's grown up with gun-touting survivalists. So obviously, I'm sure
I'm a gun-touting survivalist.
it's fine. I mean, somebody's stalking your house for 6 months and then shoot your dogs. I mean,
Yes.
no, you can shoot back.
Okay, I will.
Okay, see,
Thank
there,
you.
there you go. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's an odd situation to put the kid in.
All right. Roderick and Cooper stated that Stryker preceded Harris and Sammy out of the woods. They said Deegan challenged Harris, who turned, shot, and fatally wounded Deegan before he could fire first. They said Roderick shot the dog once, Sammy fired twice at Roderick, and Roderick returned fire. Roderick and Cooper testified that they heard multiple gunshots from the Weaver party. Cooper testified that he fired 2 3-shot bursts at Harris and saw Harris fall like a sack of potatoes, with leaves flying up in front of him.
Sounds like he's kind of proud about that.
Yeah, presumably from the impact of the round.
But Harris didn't die, right?
No,
He just got shot.
no. Harris. Oh, okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, Harris got shot. Or did he get shot here? He gets shot at some point. I think it is here. Yeah, it is here. But he doesn't die. He's shot in the arm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, said he testified that he saw Sammy run away and radioed op team member Dave Hunt that he had wounded or killed Harris, which he didn't kill him. He did just wound him.
Right.
As described by Randy and Sarah Weaver in their book, The Federal Siege, Harris's version of events differed as follows. Harris told them Stryker was followed out of the woods by Sammy and Harris, and that the dog ran up to Cooper. He said the dog ran to Roderick, who shot it in front of Sammy. Sammy yelled, "You shot my dog, you son of a bitch!" That's my 14-year-old boy voice.
Pretty good. Can you put like a little cracking in your voice?
You shot my dog, you son of a... I don't know, I can't do it, no. Anyway,
It was a good attempt.
so he said, you shot my dog, you son of a bitch. and he fired a shot at Roderick. Harris said that Deegan came out of the woods and shot Sammy in the arm. Harris fired and hit Deegan in the chest.
So wait. So now they're saying that
This
they
is
shot the dog, and then
this is Harris's version of the events.
so he's claiming that Sammy had not shot back before he got shot.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So he says that Harris fired and hit Deegan in the chest. According to the Weavers, Harris said that Cooper fired at Harris, who ducked for cover, and Cooper fired again, hitting Sammy in the back, who fell. Harris fired about 6 feet in front of Cooper, forcing him to take cover. Only then did he hear Cooper identify himself as a U.S. Marshal. Harris said he checked Sammy and found him dead and ran to the Weavers' cabin. After the firefight at the Y, Hunt and Thomas went to a neighbor's house to call for assistance from the U.S. Marshals Crisis Center. Norris, Cooper, and Roderick stayed with Deegan's body at the Y. Randy and Vicky went to the Y and retrieved Sammy's body. Randy, Vicky, and Harris placed the body in a guest cabin near the main cabin. So what I don't understand at this point, though, is it says earlier that Sammy and Harris both went out chasing this dog, right?
Right.
But at the same time, it says that Randy also went out on foot on a different path, heading to the Y. But then this gunfight happens. Randy's not there at all, right?
He was on the different path, right?
Well, they were all going to the same place. And over the course of this gunfight, he doesn't show up. But when he does show up, he shows up with his wife, who was back at the cabin, and they go and retrieve the body.
That's unusual.
Yeah, so I don't know what.
There's a lot of weird things in this entire situation that don't add up. Like,
But none of them talk about that later. They don't say anything about where he was at during the gunfight.
well, even the parts of the story logically line up more with what the Weaver side says. Some of it lines up with what the police says. Which the truth's always somewhere in the middle. But just like them, the timing of them yelling U.S. Marshals.
Right.
It's like, okay, you're hiding in a tree with camouflage. You shot the dog. You obviously don't want your location given away, so why would you yell? So you're going out with like sniper rifles.
I think they're probably yelling as a cover, right? To say that way it covers their asses, so they can say they at least identified themselves.
I mean, I think they did eventually, but I think the timing of when they yelled is off. Like they're not going to yell that.
I got what you're saying. Yep.
Like you're hiding up in a tree, so it lines up more with what the Weavers are saying, where
Right.
they yelled that after the fact.
Yep, I agree. So, in the aftermath of the gunfight on August 21st at 11:20 a.m., Deputy U.S. Marshal Hunt requested immediate support from Idaho law enforcement, and he also alerted the FBI by notifying it that a marshal had been killed. Following Hunt's phone call, the Marshal Service Crisis Center was activated under the direction of Duke Smith, Associate Director for Operations. The Marshal Service Special Operations Group was alerted to deploy. In response to the U.S. Marshal's call, the Boundary County Sheriff's Office mobilized. Also in response to the U.S. Marshal Service's request, Idaho Governor Cecil Andrus declared a state of emergency in Boundary County, allowing use of Idaho National Guard Armory at Bonners Ferry, and after an initial delay to use National Guard armored personal carriers, soon thereafter, the Idaho State Police arrived at the scene. So we're building up a massive group.
Well, and at this point, one of the police officers has been
Marshal's
shot.
been killed.
Everybody's coming out for this now. Like
Right.
this got really serious.
So here's the other thing, though. Since we did this previous episode, I had looked into this a little bit, and I found a video. I found a few videos, but I'm going to say that it's possible. I'm not certain of it, but it's possible I was wrong with our friend Randy Weaver here.
Okay.
He might be a little bit more of a racist than I had believed.
Was it the 4 KKK meetings?
No,
That was a giveaway?
that wasn't the giveaway because I still would. I
think
could
that was the
still
giveaway.
honestly see how that wouldn't come up. It was the fact that, and I've never heard him say anything racist at all. I haven't. I've looked. I Googled, was Randy Weaver a racist? Right? Because why wouldn't you type that?
It's Google.
I couldn't find
Find
anything.
anything.
I couldn't find anything for sure. Only just these same accounts that he attended these Aryan Nation meetings 4
Okay.
times. But while all this is going on, so you've got all these law enforcement agents coming up here, ready to go onto their property. At the same time, now you're getting a large group of citizens coming up there too,
Right.
because fuck these cops that just killed this man's, son.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I see a sign on one of these. I don't know. We'll call her a protester.
Okay.
Okay. And her sign says, Randy Weaver, what did it say? A true white patriot. Now, why would you specify white?
If you could just say true patriot.
Right.
Okay.
He's a true patriot. Sure. Go that path. But why specify that he was white?
Well, okay, so
Unless-
realistically, if you've been to 4 KKK meetings now, you've made some friends
With white nationalists?
with white nationalists. Bad
Okay.
look, obviously. So, of course, now that the...
Now he's got friends, and it could have just been somebody he met there. Could be.
It could be.
the case.
But, I mean, still, I still think you're racist just from attending the
Yeah,
meetings.
just stay away from the
Just
damn
don't,
meeting.
like,
Don't-
after the first one, like,
don't
you were like,
go to
okay,
Aryan
like,
Nation
like,
meetings.
if I invited you to a meeting,
Yes.
I said, Justin, I got, this is right up your alley. Like,
okay,
this is,
what is
you
it?
know, it's just a group of guys. Just a group of guys. We're just gonna
Oh.
get together and talk about,
Yes.
government policies and,
Uh-huh.
and guns and stuff. It's real interesting.
All right.
You wanna come with me?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So after you show up and then you find out it's a KKK meeting, and then you're like, most people's reaction is like,
Wait. Did I find out that it's a KKK meeting, or did I not? Did I just go to a compound where they also have Aryan Nation meetings? Because that is what this says.
You're saying they're like just meeting in like public settings. Huh?
Yeah, it's a public setting.
We're gonna go down to TGI Fridays
Okay.
and discuss racism.
Oh, what about racism?
Okay. I mean,
What are we discussing about
I mean,
racism?
we're not. I'm talking as KKK.
So I get to TGIF and
I'm pretty sure they probably had their own building, like a lodge or something that they're doing. Like, you wouldn't want these meetings out in public, obviously.
do they care that they're racist?
They don't.
So why would they care if it was in public? Or
Well,
not?
they don't want anybody knowing their plans.
Oh,
Obviously, the government. You don't
Yeah,
want.
this
You don't
is
want.
true.
You see what I'm saying?
This is
like they're
true.
talking about guns and they're talking about, all the racist KKK stuff.
I'm
I
just
guess.
saying, I'm not a big fan of TGI Fridays.
Okay, so Applebee's.
Okay, yeah. How about Fazoli's?
They're
They changed the
They're
sauce.
they're,
The
te- they're
sauce
terrible now.
changed it.
I don't even speak to me about Fazoli's anymore.
Okay.
The little Mexican taco place. We'll just say that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
All right, so we go there and we're talking about guns, and I discovered that this is a Aryan Nations meeting.
Yeah.
I am probably not going to run away
Okay.
immediately.
Oh, you're
I
not.
probably, you know what I mean.
Well,
I-
yeah, you can't like get up and like walk
Yeah,
out because
I'm-
they're gonna have
Yeah.
a thing against you now because you don't want
Plus,
to put them
I
on your radar.
probably rode there with my friend
Right.
who's been there before.
To a secret location for this meeting.
Yeah. I guess at that point, I'm probably not going back to our taco joint anymore.
Okay, I'm glad we finally got there after much
As
discussion.
long as I know that this is what it is. But if they don't ever mention this, we're at the taco place.
there's no way. There
They
is
didn't
no way this man did not know that these were
All right.
KKK meetings.
Well,
I guess there's a slight possibility,
yes.
but
And-
I just don't see it.
But now he knows because now he's got some chick out there holding
Holding
up
up
a
a
sign that
sign,
says
'cause
he's a white patriot.
Yep.
Yeah, white patriot.
Yeah. So it just kind of adds to his whole
Yep.
"I'm in the group now" thing.
So where are we at? FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. responded by sending the hostage rescue team to Idaho. Special agent in charge, Eugene Glenn of Salt Lake City FBI office, was appointed site commander with responsibility for all active individuals from the FBI, ATF, and U.S. Marshals. A standoff ensued for 11 days as several hundred federal agents surrounded the house and negotiations for a surrender were attempted. By Saturday, August 22nd, special rules of engagement were drafted and approved by FBI headquarters and the Marshal Service for use on Ruby Ridge. And the Ruby Ridge rules of engagement were as follows. You ready for this?
Okay, this is
All right.
interesting.
If any adult in the area around the cabin is observed with a weapon after the surrender announcement had been made, deadly force could and should be used to neutralize the individual. Now, these are people who live in the woods,
Right.
okay? There's more than just squirrels running around in the woods. And they're hungry and they need food.
They're going to have to.
They have
obviously.
a gun on them every time they walk outside of that cabin. They have a gun on them. Before all of this happened, anytime they walked outside of that cabin, they had a gun on them. They
Right.
never left their house without a gun on them. And now they're like, oh, you see an adult with a gun? Shoot him.
I mean, I kind of feel that was that was kind of their plan before.
Right.
Now it's just official.
Number 2, if any adult male is observed with a weapon prior to the announcement, deadly force can and should be employed if the shot could be taken without endangering any children.
But they were okay with shooting the 14-year-old?
Yeah, but now they don't want to.
Oh, okay. So one dead's enough.
Yes.
All right, that's good.
Number 3, if compromised by any dog, that dog can be taken out. We are obviously already aware of this. They've done it.
Yeah.
Number 4.
That's actually a very common.
Yeah,
police tactic.
That one I'm okay with. I'm okay with that one.
I get it if you are in fear that the dog's aggressive
Right.
or he's going to attack, but I don't see the lab
Giving away
doing-
position.
Doing, yeah, I feel like it's a bit much.
Number 4, any subjects other than Randy Weaver, Vicky Weaver, Kevin Harris, presenting threat of death or grievous bodily harm, FBI rules of deadly force apply. Deadly force can be utilized to prevent the death or grievous bodily injury to oneself or that of another.
So basically, they're saying we can shoot anybody
Yeah,
at
we're going
any
to shoot
time.
anybody. The ROE was modified from adult to adult male to exclude Vicky Weaver around 2:30 or 3 p.m. after consultation with Glenn because Vicky Weaver was not seen at the site of Deegan's slaying.
But didn't you say that she went and retrieved the bodies?
Yeah, but it was after the fact.
Okay.
And they didn't see her there. This came from Harris's account, I believe.
Okay. So they're just going to shoot the men.
Yeah, they're just going to shoot the men.
Is she the only woman there?
No, well, she's the only woman. There's there's
daughters.
3 daughters.
Right.
The ROE was The ROE was communicated to agents on site, including communication to HRT sniper / observers. Prior to deployment, communications that included the change of adult to adult male to exclude Vicky Weaver. Some deployed FBI agents, in particular the snipers, would later describe the adopted ROE as a green light to shoot on sight. On Wednesday, August 26th, 4 days after Vicky was killed, the ROE that had been in effect since the arrival of the HRT were revoked.
Wait.
Yes?
So they shot Vicky anyway?
Okay. We're coming up on that.
Okay. I was going to say, they literally just had a whole conversation about how they should not shoot her,
Yes.
and now they're going to shoot her.
They're going to shoot her.
Okay, so they didn't follow their own rules of engagement.
They tried.
Or did they were like, get out there and they're going to,
They tried.
this paper's bullshit. We're just shooting everybody.
They should have said that from the get-go. They should have said this paper's bullshit and signed off. Peace out. Let somebody else be the killer of little 14-year-old boys.
Right.
Per Glenn's direction, the FBI's standard deadly force policy replaced the ROE to guide the law enforcement personnel that were to be deployed to the cabin perimeter. The FBI rules of deadly force in effect in 1992 stated that agents are not to use deadly force against any person except as necessary in self-defense or the defense of another when they have reason to believe that they or another are in danger of death or grievous bodily harm. Whenever feasible, verbal warning should be given before deadly force is applied. This was a stark contrast to the permissive ROE adopted for the Ruby Ridge standoff. Absolutely. This one says, hey, basically, don't shoot unless you absolutely have to. But Ruby Ridge's rules of engagement were like, fuck it.
Well,
Kill
they
everyone.
they had already like crossed the line, right? And since the cop was shot, they just
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
mean, you've already shot two, including the kid.
Yeah, but you still have to have realistic rules of engagement, right? You can't just go out murdering a whole family because somebody killed a cop.
Yeah.
But they did. Well, they didn't murder the whole family, but on August 20th.
Somebody survives.
Yeah, there's quite a few. On August 22nd, the second day of the siege, between 2:30 and 3:30 p.m., the FBI HRT sniper teams were briefed and deployed to the cabin on foot. According to the report to the Department of Justice, there were various views and interpretations taken of these ROEs by members of FBI SWAT teams in action at Ruby Ridge site. So they're like saying basically everyone's like interpreting their rules of engagement differently, right? That's a real good start to your. It's so fucked up. This whole thing has been just screwed from the beginning. Denver SWAT team leader Gregory Sexton described them as severe and inappropriate. Two members of the Denver SWAT team said that they were strong and a departure from the standard deadly force policy, inappropriate,
Right.
and of a sort one had never been given before. Absolutely.
I mean, after the cop got shot, like you can definitely tell that they just their intentions were to just take the rest of the family out.
Says the latter of these two members said that other SWAT team members were taken aback by the rules and that most of them clung to the FBI standard deadly force policy. Right. So at least most of them are saying, fuck those rules. We're doing it the way we always do it.
Right. Well, and I mean, you know, that's just good morals on their part. I mean, they're trying to follow.
Right.
They knew something was wrong here.
But most of the FBI HRT snipers accepted the rules of engagement as modifying the deadly force policy. According to later interviews, HRT sniper Dale Monroe saw the rules of engagement as a green light to shoot armed adult males on sight. And HRT sniper Edward Winger believed that if he observed armed adults, he could use deadly force. But he was to follow standard deadly force policy for all other individuals. So, says Fred Lansley. Why do I say every name like that? Fred Lansley.
He was really good with the first name, just the second name.
Yeah, well, first
more
names are
complicated,
generally,
right?
Yeah. So, the FBI hostage negotiator at Ruby Ridge was surprised and shocked at the rules of engagement, the most severe rules he had heard in more than 300 hostage situations. He later characterized the ROE as being inconsistent with standard policy. The 1996 Senate report criticized the ROE as virtual shoot-on-sight orders. So everybody's pretty much in agreement that these rules of engagement were fucked.
Right.
Before the negotiators arrived at the cabin, FBI sniper Lon Harushi. I really have no idea how
Half
to
the
pronounce
fun
this
in
guy's
this
name.
is just listening to you
but-
pronounce things sometimes. Like it really is.
I'm-
You speak as I text.
Oh, that's horrible. So, FBI sniper Lon Harushi, from a position over 200 yards north and above the Weaver cabin, shot and wounded Randy Weaver in the back with the bullet exiting his right armpit while he was lifting the latch on the shed to visit the body of his dead son.
Man, they really love shooting. How
Yeah.
ironic is that?
Yep.
They shot them both in the back.
The sniper testified at the later trial that he had put his crosshairs on Weaver's spine, but Weaver moved at the last second. As Weaver...
Well, is this supposed to be better?
Well, he was
I was
trying
gonna
to kill him.
I was gonna. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
he
gonna
was
say
trying
I'm
to
gonna
kill him.
paralyze him,
Right.
but
He was trying to kill him, but it ended up...
I thought this was supposed to be they only shoot them if they've got weapons.
No, because the snipers were basically taken as a green light to shoot any adult male.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they changed it after the initial one.
So as Weaver, his 16-year-old daughter Sarah, and Harris ran back towards the house, Harushi fired a second bullet, wounding Harris in the chest. This bullet killed Vicky Weaver, who was standing behind the door in the cabin where Harris entered. Vicky
So it went through him
through
and
him,
killed her.
through the door.
Wow.
Killed Vicky, and she was holding Weaver's 10-month-old baby at the time.
Oh my God. Was the baby hurt?
No. The report to the DOJ's Office of Professional Responsibility of June 1994 stated unequivocally, in conclusion, that the rules that allowed the second shot to have been made did not satisfy constitutional standards for legal use of deadly force. The 1996 report of the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee's Subcommittee on Terrorism, Technology, and Government Information. Can we just stop? Come on. Let's do this again. The U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee's Subcommittee on Terrorism, Technology, and Government Information. What the fuck? Seriously. Come on. We have to have a committee and a subcommittee on everything. It's insane.
Where do you think our money goes?
It's going to subcommittees, apparently. And they're like, we're going to be really precise with what this subcommittee is about. Terrorism, technology, and government information.
Oh, they gotta have a fancy name.
Yeah. And then they'll...
Think of the T-shirts.
Oh, that's could make badass T-shirts. Could you imagine?
Right?
It doesn't just say FBI. It says U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee Subcommittee on Terrorism, Technology, and Government Information.
It's a whole bumper sticker. It's not
Let's
just
see.
like a corner.
What
It's
would
a
that
whole
be?
bumper.
What would that be?
What are the initials?
USSJCSTTGI.
Just rolls right off the tongue.
Absolutely. Anyway, our inspector chair concurred with Senator Dianne Feinstein dissenting. The RRTF report said that the lack of a request by the marshals to the Weavers to surrender was inexcusable. Harris and the two Weavers were not believed to be an imminent threat since they were reported as running for cover without returning fire. The later Justice Task Force criticized Harushi for firing through the door when he did not know if anyone was on the other side of it. While there is a dispute as to who approved the rules of engagement which Harushi followed, the task force condemned the rules of engagement that allowed shots to be fired without a request for surrender. So,
I mean, they didn't have any plans to let them surrender.
no, they did not.
It was in writing that they were to shoot on sight.
Yep. And it was changed. It was there, and then it was changed. We don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on.
Maybe they forgot to send them the paperwork.
Yeah. They put the
that
wrong
seems-
date on it. It's
yeah.
going to be delivered later.
Oh, sorry guys. We meant after 3 p.m.
Oops, our bad.
You can shoot them, but not before.
Ridiculous. The FBI's headquarters and the site commanders in Idaho both reevaluated the situation based on information about what had happened on August 21st, which they were receiving from U.S. Marshals Hunt, Cooper, and Roderick. On August 23rd, repeated attempts to negotiate with Weaver via a bullhorn failed. There was no response from the cabin. On about Monday, August 24th, the fourth day of the siege, FBI Deputy Assistant Director Danny Coulson, who did not know that Vicky Weaver had been killed, wrote a memo with the following content. Something to consider. Number 1, charge against Weaver is bullshit. Yep.
Well, yeah.
Number 2, no one saw Weaver do any shooting. Number 3, Vicky has no charges against her. And now she's dead, but they don't know it.
Right.
Number 4, Weaver's defense. He ran down the hill to see what the dog was barking at. Some guys in camis shot his dog, started shooting at him, killed his son. Harris did the shooting. He is in pretty strong legal position.
Yeah.
The standoff was ultimately resolved by civilian negotiators, including Bo Greitz, to whom Weaver agreed to speak. Side note, when I was 2 years old, like 1 to 2 years old, I was next door neighbors with Bo Greitz.
The Bo Greitz?
The Bo Greitz. Yeah, we lived right
Like
next
this
door.
guy in the story.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. We lived in Nevada at the time, Sandy Valley, Nevada, and he was our neighbor. So, interesting.
Weird coincidence?
Yep. Bo Greitz also ran for president in 1992. I have a T-shirt. It says, what's it say? Grites, or wait, God Guns Grites. It was the Bill of Grites.
That's real nice.
Yeah.
Do you still have the T-shirt?
I do still have the T-shirt.
I'm really disappointed you didn't wear it today.
Yeah, well,
Like, this would have been the time to wear it.
I was like 9 years old, so it fit me a little bit differently.
Listen, I don't care how
Oh,
it
man,
fits
how
you,
much would
but
that
you're
make my pipes
you're gonna
stick
put
out?
that thing on. You can like do some Hulk
Yes.
Hogan, stuff there.
I have it because he signed it, and that was, as a 9-year-old, that was the first time I had anybody who, of celebrity status to me, right, sign anything.
Yeah. I feel
And now I don't give a shit about celebrities. I don't give a shit about celebrities at all. Like, if I'm walking down the street and I pass Tom Cruise walking down the street, if I say anything to him at all, I'll be like, "What's up, Tom?" and
Hey,
keep on walking because I don't give a shit.
you'd be like, "Hey, little fella," because he's
Yeah.
like 5'3".
Yeah. But I mean, I don't
Really?
I really
With
just,
your fascination with Top Gun, you wouldn't even
no, because I like the movie. I don't care about. I don't.
his
I don't,
crazy
yes.
his crazy
Dude,
behavior.
They should be looking at me and going, "Man, that guy, man, he's a really good MetLab technician, man. I mean, yeah." And then they should be
I
asking
mean, there's
for my
there,
autograph.
there's
I don't-
nobody out there that
no,
you would like
I
to
don't
meet.
care. I mean, sure, I'd like to sit down with some people. Like I would like to sit down with a lot of people and talk to them, but not as celebrities,
Not like as a fanboy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of presidents I'd like to talk to. A lot of dead presidents I'd like to talk to if I could. But even living ones, there's a lot of them. But nobody that I'm like fawning over. I'm not going to be like, Trump, Trump. Oh, can you sign this for me? Can you sign this for me? Here, sign my boobie. You know what I mean? Fuck, get the hell
Because
out of
that would be
here.
really odd for you to walk up and ask them to
Yeah,
sign your boob.
get the
I'm just
hell
saying.
out of it. People are ridiculous. I don't get it.
But you know what?
They're just
What would
people.
be useful is if you did get him to sign it,
Yes.
or any celebrity, we could put it up in the background for the podcast. It'd be pretty cool. I feel like you need to put the Bogrites t-shirts behind us. Like I've just it's because it relates to one of our stories. If you're not gonna wear it, we can at least put it up. Get your damn frame, hang that bitch. At least we look professional, little decor in the back.
Next time we
Forgive
talk
the
about
language, sorry.
Bogue rights, I will see if I can't bring the shirt.
You
out.
really should. I mean, I don't know when the next time we're ever gonna talk about
Hey,
Bogrites.
This is a
I'm
crazy
just saying,
cat.
look, there's a spot right here.
Yeah.
We could easily put that Bogrite shirt up. And then we'll just, as we get along, we'll just get souvenirs for each one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to print off something for the Heaven's Gate.
We'll join their cult and get a T-shirt. What the fuck? It's open.
I'm gonna pass.
Join their cult and get us a T-shirt.
I'm gonna pass on that one.
Such a puss.
This is the whole castration thing. I'm out.
I told you didn't have to get castrated. You could if you wanted to.
If I'm gonna elevate to a higher level, you've got to follow the rules. You just can't amend things on the fly.
Well, that's why you're doing it. Get us a T-shirt, and then you can. Get
It's just me now. It's just me. Okay,
Yeah, I'm not,
this
I'm
seems
not
fair.
getting castrated. What's wrong with you?
You get a T-shirt from Bogrites at 9, and I'm supposed to get castrated for
A T-shirt from Heaven's Gate. Yes.
Doesn't your wife make T-shirts? She could just make us a Heaven Gate.
That's
we
cheating.
should make some T-shirts.
That is cheating. Go get castrated. Stop being a puss.
I'm just telling you, we're gonna make some Heaven's Gates T-shirts.
All right.
Bunch of weirdos. But anyway,
says Harris, had earlier urged Weaver to end his suffering, surrendered on August 30th. He was removed via stretcher, and then he was flown by an Air Force medical evacuation helicopter to Sacred Heart Medical Center in Spokane.
so the only people who didn't get shot were his daughters.
Yeah, that's right.
Like everybody else got shot. Every other single person.
Well, it was Harris, Weaver's wife, and his son. Yep. So there's 4 of them left. Four killed, 4 left.
Well, how many?
Is it 4 or is it 3 more? I think it's 3.
He had
I think
3
it's
daughters, right?
Three more. Well,
The baby. Was the baby a girl
it
or a boy?
was. You're right. It was. I think it was a girl, but it's got a weird name, and so I didn't include it because
No, I want to hear you pronounce it.
I don't even know what it is now. Something like.
It sounds like Klingon. Like,
Yeah.
You're
No, it was
speaking
something weird.
Klingon.
I don't know what it was. It doesn't really matter. But I believe that's right. I think there was 3 daughters, the 1 boy, the wife, the husband, and the friend.
Okay.
Yep. So
So literally every adult's dead.
yeah. Well, they're not dead. They're just shot. Right.
Weaver's the only one that survived, right?
Harris survives.
Oh, did Harrison? Okay.
Yep. So really, they only got
The son and the wife.
1 out of 3
So
adults.
they killed the 2 innocent people. They killed his wife.
I'm just gonna say they're
I mean,
all
they're all
innocent at
technically
this
innocent
point.
at this point, right?
They've
But
never-
not the targets. They didn't kill the targets.
Right. So Harris is removed. Weaver allowed the removal of his wife's body, which Greitz oversaw. Keep in mind that part of this is, at the time, Greitz is a pretty big right-winged guy. Okay. So is Weaver.
Right.
They both were Green Berets.
Okay.
All right. So they got a little bit of a connection going to them.
Right.
So he's allowing Greitz to, come in, and Greitz is trying to talk him down, basically, without getting any more people killed.
Right.
Says FBI HRT commander gave Greitz a deadline to get the remaining Weavers to surrender, and if they did not surrender on the day of the deadline, he said he would resolve the standoff by launching a tactical assault. Weaver and his daughter surrendered the next day. Both Harris and Weaver were arrested. Harris was in serious condition at Sacred Heart, but U.S. Marshals did not allow his parents to see him or talk by telephone until Monday evening after a federal court order was issued. Weaver's daughters were released to the custody of relatives. Federal officials considered charging Sarah, who was 16, as an adult. They didn't. Weaver was transferred by military helicopter to the airport at Sandpoint, and from there he was flown by U.S. Marshals jet to Boise. There he was given a brief medical examination at St. Luke's Medical Center. He was held at the Ada? He was held at county jail and arraigned in federal court the following day, Tuesday, September the 1st. Weaver and Harris were charged with a variety of offenses. Their trial in U.S. District Court in Boise began in April of '93 and was presided over by Judge Edward Lodge. Weaver's defense attorney, Jerry Spence, glad we're keeping this guy around, rested his case in mid-June without calling any witnesses for the defense.
Wait.
Yes.
Is this the same?
This is the same.
So they gave him the public defender that screwed him in the first place. The same guy?
Yeah, isn't it the same? Oh, wait, maybe it's not. No. I'm wrong.
Please tell
This
me
is
they
the
went and
new-
got a lawyer this time and not a public defender.
Yeah, this is the new guy. His last guy, it wasn't Jerry Spence. It was, let's see, there was 2 different people involved there. There was his probation officer, which was Richens,
Right.
right? And his lawyer was named Hoffmeister.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's where that's at. But now his attorney, Jerry Spence, for some reason I recognize that name somewhere else into this, though. I don't know. Doesn't really matter.
Maybe a
His,
public lawyer.
his defense attorney, Jerry Spence, rested his case in mid-June without calling any witnesses for the defense, instead seeking to convince the jury through cross-examination aimed at discrediting government evidence and witnesses. Weaver was ultimately acquitted in July of all charges except missing his original court date and violating his bail conditions.
Man, they still wouldn't let him up
Oh,
on the
yeah,
court
fuck
date
no,
thing
man.
that they screwed up.
Yeah, they
Man.
got to do something. Right.
Well, you could have some saving grace that you just like shot half his family.
Yeah, right. So said, they charged him with this.
I can't believe that they actually thought about charging his 16-year-old daughter
Yeah,
like
they're-
she had
it's
any involvement in any of it.
Fucked up, man. He was
Let
sentenced.
the kids go at this point.
He was sentenced October to 18 months imprisonment and fined $10,000. Credited with time served and good behavior, Weaver served less than 16 months and was released from Canyon County Jail in Caldwell in mid-December. Harris was defended by attorney David Nevin, and was acquitted of all charges. Exactly 5 years after the incident, on August 21st, 1997, he was indicted by Boundary County prosecutor Denise Woodbury for the first-degree murder of Deputy U.S. Marshal Bill Deegan. But the charge was dismissed in early October on grounds of double jeopardy because he had been acquitted in federal criminal trial on the same charge in 1993. Defense counsels for Weaver and Harris alleged throughout their 1993 trial that agents of the ATF, U.S. Marshal Service, and FBI were themselves guilty of serious wrongdoing. I agree. The Department of Justice created the Ruby Ridge Task Force to investigate events. It delivered a 542-page report on June 10, 1994, to the DOJ Office of Professional Responsibility. Questions persisted about Ruby Ridge and subsequent Waco siege, which involved the same agencies and many of the same officials. The Senate Subcommittee on Terrorism, Technology, and Government Information.
You could at least act enthused.
The SSTTGI.
There you go. See? They know. They all have the bumper stickers.
The SSTTGI. You know? No, just...
Just keep going.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Sorry, my bad. Held 14 days of hearings on these incidents and allegations of misconduct, ending on October 19, 1995. The hearings were televised on C-SPAN. Both the internal 1994 Ruby Ridge Task Force report and the public 1995 Senate Subcommittee report on Ruby Ridge criticized the rules of engagement as unconstitutional. Weird.
You think? I'm curious who got the blowback for this, because even though the police officers were at fault for their actions, they were following the protocol plan that was put in place.
Yep.
So those people who made that, obviously, should be the ones who take responsibility.
Which
for
I think
the failure.
they tried, remember, to charge the sniper who shot Vicky. They tried charging him later, but then ended up dropping it.
I mean, yeah, and they should. I mean, it's terrible. It could be due to what happened, but it's like he was following his rules of engagement that he was taught. It's no different than the military. It's like,
yep, I agree.
You're doing your job.
1995 GAO investigation was conducted on the policies regarding use of force by federal law enforcement agencies. Its report said in October 1995, Treasury and Justice adopted use of deadly force policies to standardize the various policies their component agencies had adopted over the years. The major change was that agencies required a law enforcement agent to have reasonable belief of an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury in order to use deadly force. This brought all federal law enforcement agency deadly force policies in line with the U.S. Supreme Court rulings Tennessee versus Garner in 85 and Graham versus Connor in 89, which apply to state and local law enforcement agencies. In 1997, Michael Cahoe, the chief of the FBI Violent Crime Section.
We're just going to make clips of you saying last people's names. People's last names.
Yes. He pled guilty to obstruction of justice for destroying a report critical of the agency's role at Ruby Ridge. He was sentenced to 18 months and a $4,000 fine. In the aftermath, Randy Weaver and his daughters filed a wrongful death suit for $200 million, which was related to the killing of his wife and son. In an out-of-court settlement in August of 95, the federal government awarded Randy Weaver $100,000, and it also awarded $1 million to each of his three daughters. The government did not admit that it committed any wrongdoing in the deaths of Sammy and Vicky. On the condition of anonymity.
It was anonymous.
Thank you. It was anonymous. Anonymity. A DOJ official told the Washington Post that he believed that the Weavers would have probably won the full amount if the case had gone to trial. The attorney for Harris pressed...
So they just took a
plea
bargain.
Yep.
They should have went to trial for that one for sure. They would have got a lot more.
Yep. Attorney for Harris pressed Harris's civil suit for damages, although federal officials vowed that they would never pay someone who killed a U.S. Marshal. In September 2000, Harris was awarded $380,000 settlement by the government. In 1997, Boundary County prosecutor Denise Woodbury indicted FBI HRT sniper Lon Harushi for manslaughter on state charges just before the statute of limitations for this crime expired. She appointed a special prosecutor to conduct the case, but in 1998, the trial was removed to federal court because Harushi had been acting in the line of duty as a federal law enforcement officer. Judge Lodge quickly dismissed the case on grounds of sovereign immunity. The decision to dismiss the charges was reversed 6-5 in 2001 by a panel of the Ninth Circuit, which held that enough uncertainty about the facts of the case existed for Harushi to stand trial on state manslaughter charges. Boundary County prosecutor Brett Benson, who had defeated Woodbury in the May of 2000 primary and won the November election, decided to drop the case. He said he believed that it was unlikely the state could prove the criminal charges, and too much time had passed. He also believed his decision would enable the process of healing in the county. Attorney Stephen Yagman, who had been appointed as the special prosecutor, said that he vehemently disagreed with the decision. He suggested the case could still be prosecuted if Boundary County prosecutor later charged again.
I mean, if there's no statute of limitations, yeah, they could.
Well, there is, though. I don't understand. I think it's still 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, I guess even maybe at that time, but
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, like I said, you can't blame the police officers for. I mean, if he did something that was out of the context of what he was supposed to be doing, I can understand. Like, I have more issue with the guy shooting the kid in the back.
Yep.
Than I do with the
sniper who
sniper
fired through the door.
and she
Yep,
went.
I
I mean,
agree.
that was clearly accidental.
Yep.
Well, you know,
I agree.
very very sad. It's a tragedy still, but like still, it's not to the extent that where you're making a choice to shoot someone in the back.
Right. Says Randy Weaver and his daughter Sarah wrote The Federal Siege at Ruby Ridge in 1998 about the incident, which was published in paperback. The Weaver family later moved to Montana. Sarah and the other two Weaver daughters are employed there. After becoming a born-again Christian, Sarah Weaver said in 2012 that she had forgiven the federal agents who killed her mother and brother. Randy Weaver died May 11th of this year at the age of 74. Yep. So that's that. Pretty messed up situation. I think it
So
sucks.
they wrote a book on this.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't been picked up for a movie.
Oh, they've had movies on it.
Have they?
Oh, yeah.
What are they like?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, you know, like Hallmark type
straight to
movies or something.
TV,
Yeah,
straight to
that
TV
kind of-
movies.
Yeah. But it's a pretty interesting story. A lot of shit fucked up there. You know, could have gone a whole lot different. There, everybody's life could have been completely different.
I mean, clearly no perfect people in this situation, right? Like there were faults on all sides. I feel like the Weavers definitely ended up getting the short end of the stick when all this went down, though. Like he definitely.
I think he would have shown up to
thrown-
court.
Yeah,
had
he
had
was
the
he
correct
was
date,
thrown under the bus.
and nothing else would have happened. We'd have been done. He would have been charged, put on probation, whatever, and life would have gone on for everybody.
Yeah.
But now there's people dead, people injured.
Well, what amazes me, you know, is especially the incident with his son and the whole thing with the dog. But it's like you guys were already sending in negotiators to try and talk these people off, you know, from down to surrender initially, right? They had the local negotiators were coming in.
Well, yeah, but
Bo
nothing was
and-
going. Bo came in later because nothing was happening. They weren't responding to the.
They weren't responding at
No,
all.
they were just ignoring them. But when.
But okay, so my point being,
yes.
they were non-threatening when these people were coming
Right.
to have discussions. Or you said they were non-responsive at all.
They
Would
weren't.
they not talk to them?
They
even
would
speak to them?
not. Nope. They had no response for them whatsoever. So they just completely ignored them until Bo showed up, and then they were like, you know, he said he would talk to him, so they let him through.
But only one of them they were after, right? They were only after Randy Weaver. So the other ones were just bystanders in the entire situation and got drug into it.
Yep.
So, I mean, if they were going to try and pursue someone outside the cabin, why wouldn't they just try and go after Randy?
Because now they feel like they're all, you know, going to
In
kill him.
cahoots.
Well, they fucking killed their kid. You
Oh,
kill
no,
my kid,
no.
I'm going to fucking kill you too.
No,
mean,
I get that. I'm saying, what was the need for them when the dog came out to begin with? You know, they shot the dog. Then you shoot Harris and,
Oh,
and the
right,
kid.
right,
Like,
right.
okay, you were only
Well,
after Weaver.
Yeah,
What's your plan here?
But they're saying that they shot the dog and then they shot at them. So now things change.
All right, which
So.
that's that's hearsay.
But that's the story of Ruby Ridge. Remember, you can visit the website at wikibros.com to get more information regarding this topic. We'll have links on there for various videos, and check them out. I mean, if you got time to watch some of these, it's pretty insightful. Also, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and our YouTube channel. Follow us on your favorite social media outlets like TikTok and Instagram. Leave us a rating, tell a friend. Remember, Wikipedia runs on donations, so would you consider giving them a couple of bucks? Be sure to join us next time. For Wikibros, I'm Justin,
This is Kyle.
and we'll see you soon.